Good morning, boys and girls. We are on our way to the dyno. Got the winter project all loaded up in the pouring rain, because it's been doing a lot of that this summer, but got it done without damaging anything. So since the last video, I knocked a few things off the list that I kind of talked about at the end of the last video. Got the hot parts all Cerakoted, got everything put back together. So no real changes, just little nitpicky stuff that I wanted to get done. So I got it all back together basically last night. Didn't even get a chance to drive it because it was raining. So loaded right up this morning, and we're headed to the dyno. So I'll catch you guys there. We'll get the car unloaded and put on the rollers and see what happens. All right, guys. Here at Performance Dyno. Josh is in the car, messing with the tune. About to make a first pull here. See what happens. Alright guys, just made the first pull. Been good so far. Josh is just making some adjustments to the tune. Make some more pulls. Been good so far. Alright, so we got the boost by gear working, about 25% on the duty cycle on the wastegate, made just under 14 pounds of boost. Josh is working on a tune update. Starting to make a little power though. You guys can see that. Dumped in some E85, hoping to be around E60 or so. Do a pull. Alright guys, first pull on E, just over 12 pounds of boost. Getting there. Alright, just cranked up the boost controller a little bit. See what she does now. All right, here we go, guys. Final numbers for now. Officially 4-digit club. Not bad. We're just gonna get it unstrapped here, get it outside, be good to go. Josh, the man. All right, guys, well, there you have it. Just finished up on the dyno. Let's get this thing loaded up. On the way back, we'll talk to you guys about the numbers and where we ended up. All right, guys, on the way back from the dyno. Hopefully that wasn't too choppy there. I was kind of busy working with Josh. I was kind of manning the boost controller settings, which I'll kind of take you guys through in a second. I basically got it working last minute last night, so I was trying to make sure that was configured correctly. So I tried to film as much as I could without, you know, getting in the way and making sure that I was doing my part to make sure the car did what it needed to do. But overall, could not be happy with how everything went. You know, this is a completely 100% brand new setup, new motor. You know, had the transmission out. Basically, spec'd the whole setup myself. Built the long block, complete turbo kit, hot side, cold side, turbos, fuel system, clutch. Everything's brand new, untested, had maybe 30 miles on it, never even been into boost, never been above like 3,700 RPM. And, you know, we just beat the shit out of it on the dyno, and, you know, she loved every minute of it. So we started with 93 octane on the tank, made after, you know, timing adjustments and some adjustments to the VE table. We made, I think, 710 horsepower at like 11.5 PSI. So I'll probably leave it around there for pump gas. Then we switched it over to E85 and ultimately ended up making like 1,070 horsepower. Just, I think it was right around 20 PSI. So I am just so ecstatic about this. Like I've always wanted to have a 4-digit car. I've come close. I've had an 800 horsepower Cobra, 800-ish horsepower, the silver C6 that I had last summer. So to finally be in the 4-digit club is really, really great for me. Worked really hard on the car all winter, so it's finally all the hundreds of hours in the garage coming together to make a package that works and makes awesome power. That's only 20 pounds of boost. The turbos still had plenty left in them, plenty of fuel left, but I'm going to run it right here for now. I mean, right now we're on 20-inch Toyos. They're going to get absolutely obliterated. I got my Hoosiers in the garage. We can give those a shot, but this is plenty of power for now. If I want to make more, which who knows. But we'll go back in the fall and we can turn it up a little bit. But, you know, just under 1,100 horsepower in a street car. I'm sure I'll find something else to break, like axles or diff or whatever. For it to go basically without a hitch, nothing broke, no leaks, nothing caught on fire. Couldn't have gone better. I'm ecstatic. So let's get home, get the car off the trailer. I can kind of show you guys maybe the dyno sheets and the boost controller, what I was talking about, and maybe wash it up and go for a ride. I had it immaculate last night, but of course, once again, it rained this morning and the whole way there, so the car's dirty again. But let's get it off the trailer and at least go for a little ride. You guys can see what it's like, and I can see what it's like. I don't think I've ever driven a 1,000 horsepower car before, so we'll see what happens. Alright guys, got the car off the trailer. I just wanted to show you this boost controller and how it works. This Cortex unit that we installed a couple videos ago. It's past winter or spring. So I wired in to the speed sensor and the RPM or tach sensor in the ECM, which is over in the passenger side fender area over there. And after setting the configuration according to Cortex, here's what we got. So this was a log through the software and the boost controller, which is really cool. So you don't really make changes on the boost controller itself. You make changes in the software, and then you write it to the boost controller via the laptop. So, easy configuration. You don't have to mess with these two buttons a whole lot. All you do is basically select the profile. But anyways, so after we got the parameters right, you can see here the blue line is gear, which is determined by the EVS ratio, which is what the boost controller uses to determine what gear you're in based on the RPM and the speed. So you can see here as we go through obviously all dyno pulls are done in 4th gear. You can see the EVS ratio is one thing in orange, and then you can see it drops down. And when it drops down, that tells the boost controller that you're in another gear. Then it kind of drops down again, 3rd gear, 4th gear, etc. So by doing this, we can tell the boost controller what gear we're in, and we can set these different duty cycles for each gear. Right now, just because we were trying to get done on the dyno, I have them all set to 40, which was the pull that we made about 20 pounds of boost. But basically what I'm going to do is this software gives you the option to set up to 6 profiles. I could have low boost for pump gas, high boost for pump gas, low boost for E85, high boost for E85, etc. Which within each of those profiles, each gear can have a different duty cycle. So we can have, 10 psi in 1st gear, 13 psi in 2nd gear, and then all the way up to 20 psi in 4th and above, or depending on what tire setup, or might take some testing to see what traction is going to hold and what isn't. But really, really cool software in here. There's a spool feature which basically forces the wastegate to be completely shut until you reach a certain boost limit. Overboosts, safety, fail safes, everything. Just a really, really powerful boost controller, all right down here, hidden in the ashtray. And then obviously once you have these profiles configured in the software and write them to the device, you can just quickly select through here which profile you want to be on. So, I can go from pump gas to E85 to high boost, low boost, all with a touch of a button right here. No problem. So far really liking the Cortex unit. So I'm going to set some of these parameters now, and yeah, we can go take it out for a quick drive. One other thing I want to mention quickly, guys, is that duty cycle obviously doesn't directly correlate to boost pressure. So the nerd in me, while we were doing the testing on the dyno, was taking notes here so that I know what duty cycle is going to equal approximately what boost. Obviously all these pulls were done in 4th gear, so it might vary a little bit, but now for each other gear in each profile here, I know what duty cycle is going to equate to approximately what boost. So for pump gas, probably put a duty cycle of about 25 to get me about 12 psi, and then E85 will be anywhere from between 30 to 45 or above. So I'm going to make a couple of these profiles now, and we'll be good to go. All right, guys, let's go for a little drive here. Car's finally tuned. Been driving it around. Took it to Cars and Coffee yesterday. Seemed like it was a pretty big hit. It's been driving great, no issues so far. I got about 60 miles on this setup. But yeah, figured I'd take you guys for a drive. So I realized the GoPro audio in the last video was pretty terrible, so I'm trying this external mic, which may or may not be working, but we'll have to see if this audio is any better. But hopefully you guys can hear those turbos a little bit better this time. I mean, in person, they're just so loud. Let's go do a pull or two, and we'll go from there. All right, so we'll drop it into 2nd here, roll into it a little bit. 2nd gear should be about 12 psi, so RIP Toyos. Woo! Oh man, just incinerates the tires in 2nd gear. Let's see what that was for boost. So yeah, I was 12.8. I let out of it in 2nd, got into it in 3rd a little bit. So these tires aren't going to cut it, but sure is fun to, in a new setup like this, mess around like that. we go. Just got the blue lights flashed at me. Sorry, dude. We'll see if he comes back around. I got no front bumper, no front plate, no fenders. At least I'd slow down a little bit. Yikes. Oh, and I don't have my license on me. We're just winning right now. Hopefully he doesn't come back. I think we're good.